27th of January 2021, Wednesday morning in Europe. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening guys, whatever you are. Put here this Light Forex Global YouTube channel, and we are going to make then metals update. End of the month is approaching, so the January is coming to the end, and when it comes to the gold, the bulls, I'm pretty sure the bulls are very disappointed. Why? Well, because of what is going on. We are well below the yearly open, and compare to what happened a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, etc., etc. We were discussing this. Well, usually January was positive for the bulls. Now, of course, there are still the rest of the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the distance is not that big, because we are talking about the levels close to 1,900, right? And we are like just $50, so not that bad, especially taking into the consideration the lower shadows being created over here. Anyway, a lot of work when it comes to the bulls, and still, in my opinion, as long as we are below 1,950 and 2,000, right, we are still got the chance to move a little bit lower towards 1,750. So we might see this type of the one-to-one. Why? At least this one, because of this latest weakness here, and 50% of that. For now, we are trying to hold the top when it comes to the monthly chart. So let's have a look what we have from the weekly chart perspective on the gold. Well, there was an attempt to go higher at the very beginning of the year, right, with rejection going on. Previous week, rally, but the upper shadow we've seen, yeah, that could be huge question mark from the buyer's perspective. Anyway, let's go a little bit lower, and the levels we discussed a second ago might be related, based on the monthly chart, might be related to the weekly demand zone we have here, visible over here, which after the break to the upside never been tested. All right, so another reason to go a little bit lower when it comes to the gold. And finally, daily chart on the gold also is going to confirm what we discussed from the higher time frame perspective. That's half, and then eventually a little bit lower, even below 1,700. So for now, taking into the consideration what is going on the daily chart right here, right now, all right, so that's the latest demand, right? Because from here we took out this supply, right? So that was demand. Once been broken, now turn to the supply again. So I see the stop count to the downside still quite positive. Well, from the intraday perspective, don't forget FOMC day. From the intraday perspective, I would carefully watch the development, and it could be very interesting where we are going to be towards the end of the day. All right, the next one is silver, and well, almost same thing. A little bit of the rally based on the weekly chart, but market was not able to close above that range, right? Shadow, and lower, there we go. So what we have? We have retest when it comes to the previous week rally, and we are a little bit below the weekly open. I would watch very carefully the developments over the next few few days. Now, that's on the daily, that's the consolidation, all right? And taking into the consideration that low, we haven't seen stop count to the downside. So it could turn out that this rally is some kind of the fake, right? But I would wait and see this possible one-to-one and the behavior around 23.50. Yes, during our previous update, we were talking about the levels below 20, right? But let's have a look what's going to happen around 23.50, because I do expect some buyers to be around these levels. So overall, I would use current price action, I would use current price action as some kind of the bear flag, right? And I would go with 23.50, 22.40 as a first target, and then eventually based on what we discussed, this range, I would decide what next. But taking into the consideration gold and silver, and then trying to look around Palladium, I think that's the most bearish chart for now, all right? Well, if you do remember, we were discussing very tight range. The supply based on this particular weekly range is very, very active. Now, 2 weeks ago, swing high been created. Since then, we are going lower. Well, the demand theoretically should be around 2,200, right? We are in the middle of the range based on the weekly chart. So let's have a look what we have from the daily chart perspective. All right. Very negative beginning of the week, continuation. Now from the daily chart perspective, we are testing support right now, right here. So depends on the FOMC outcome and the price action here. Well, look for eventually lower shadow if you are a bull, right? And the midweek reversal towards the end of the week, tomorrow and Friday, with the end of the month inside. So that's gonna be very, very interesting. In case of the break of 2,300, right, most probable outcome is going to be 2,200, 2,150. Overall, looks bearish for me for now, but if we are going to make any kind of the attempt to reversal towards the end of the day, that could be right, that could produce the rally at least towards 2,350. And finally, the most bullish in my case, in my opinion, the most bullish chart is of course chart of the platinum, right? Now, why? Because of this price action we discussed quite a few times, right? So overall, we hit 1150. There is an attempt to create swing high. We might see lower levels, but overall, I do expect 1,950 is going to hold, and taking into the consideration this move to the downside, the same move to the upside is on the way. With that being said, guys, watch carefully the developments post FOMC when it comes to the metals. Be careful, don't be trapped, and see you around. Take care and goodbye.